Luka wants to be a championship team yesterday, a source close to Doncic said. Ever since the trade, they've always told us summer of 26. We'll show you in the summer of 26. So we are so excited that the summer of 26 is here. End quote. Well, so now it's Luka, Austin Reeves, over $50 million in cap space, and Luka's desire for a center, for a lob threat. Everybody in the world is connecting them to Walker Kessler. Everyone in the world is connecting them, maybe into Mitchell Robinson. Obviously, Jalen Duren is going to be a very popular name. They could offer him, 4 years and $170-something million. But restricted free agents don't leave. Like, my guess is the Pistons would not want to lose Jalen Duren, who averaged nearly 20 and 10 and was third-team All-NBA at 22 years old, for nothing. So my gut tells me they're going to start building for depth and kind of nibble around the edges here and ultimately come up short for those bigs, KOC. But it does feel like we will finally begin to see whatever the Lakers' vision, if they even have a vision for what a Luka Doncic-centered Lakers team is. But as we sit here today, assuming they miss out on those centers, I will be expecting the Lakers to take a step back because LeBron James was still a top 20 player in the NBA last year.
They very well could take a step back. And, I would say, as that quote said from McMenamin, the summer of 26 is here, and the pressure is on Luka now that he is solely the face of the Lakers franchise and mostly on Rob Pelinka. What is this master plan that Rob Pelinka has been building towards? He punted this past year to put a team around these guys, Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron. So what actually is the move this offseason, in which we've already seen some star players on the move? It is a very shallow free agent class. Is there a trade to be made? Are you investing future draft capital? I don't know exactly what the right move is for the Lakers this offseason, given the lack of appealing options out there. And as you rightfully said, Danny, those centers are restricted free agents. Those teams, both Utah and Detroit, could match on Kessler and Duren.
Do you think they would? Do you think, because Duren was awful in the playoffs, right? He averaged 19 a game in the regular season, third-team All-NBA, and then averaged 10 points per game in the playoffs and was terrible. I still would think, even if the Lakers threw, like I said, 4 years and $175 million at Jalen Duren, I would assume that the Pistons would match. Would you, KOC?
My sources have said that right now what's happening with the stuff about the Kings with Jalen Duren and the Lakers is just Duren's camp trying to gain leverage.
Okay.
Because the Pistons have made a low offer. So I would expect the Pistons would match the offer that's out there for Jalen Duren.
This has been a failed so far free agency 26 for the Lakers. Just, let's just call a spade a spade. Obviously, signing Austin Reeves was, a priority of theirs. But, that does not put them in position to talk about winning a championship. And, to Luka's, point that 2026 is what they've been telling him, all the pressure's on him. Obviously leaving LeBron, having LeBron leave the team, there's nobody else that they can point fingers at. There's nobody else that can do an interview. And the unfortunate thing about the Lakers are like a lot like the Knicks and like the Cowboys, right? They're going to be on sports talk shows every single day, every single week. And if they're not winning, there's going to be blame point all around, which is going to be mostly at Luka and at Rob Pelinka.
Next home, the Spurs, a dark horse 20-1 team on the list. But let's go through some of these, Al, and start in Cleveland, where LeBron started his career, left, came back, brought home a trophy. If he were to join the Cavs, it's fun to project what a starting five would look like. This is barring no other trades of the core guys. Allen and Mobley in the front court, James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James. James Harden reportedly is interested in doing some things for salary flexibility right now. So the idea of LeBron returning to Cleveland, I'll be honest, I love it. I think it's storybook. Where it began, where it ends. You do things with Max Strus and Dennis Schroeder to free up some money. You figure out a way to get a little bit more perimeter defense in there. James Harden and Donovan Mitchell spread the floor. Yes, Harden likes the ball in his hands. Yes, Mitchell likes the ball in his hands. I know that. But Mobley and Allen is an elite defensive front court. You're in the Eastern Conference, and you can bookend your career. I think Cleveland makes a ton of sense to actually win. I know we're going to talk about the storybook stuff and the fun of playing with some of these other teams, but in terms of a path to winning a title, I actually think Cleveland is the one that makes the most sense to win immediately.
It makes a lot of sense. I think we talked about this, when they were in the playoffs and playing against the Knicks, like what were they missing, right? And a guy like LeBron is definitely someone that you would consider that they're missing, right? He obviously is an ultimate facilitator. He's a leader. He's a champion, right? And that's what those guys are honestly missing. And to your point of like the fact that James wants the ball in his hands and Donovan wants the ball in their hands, in the playoffs, they've shown that like when the game gets a little tight, they're willing to pass it off to somebody else. And, LeBron would be the perfect guy for that to happen, especially with the way that this team is constructed. They do have shooters everywhere. They do have big guys down low that can, their lob threats on the defensive side. They can cover up a lot of mistakes for all three of those guys because all three of them at this point in their careers are a little lackadaisical on the defensive end and have their issues. So I do like Cleveland as a last stop for him because I have to believe that this 24th season will be his last season. And I feel like in the Eastern Conference, playing with that team, especially the way the last 2 years, the regular seasons that they've been able to have, definitely adding him to that would definitely put them in a position to really compete for a championship.
Listen, I know we're all, day to day. So LeBron is year to year. But maybe he's going to play 25 years, and he's going to a team now for the next 2. Why not? If he can make it 24, he can make it 25. Let's go to another option for LeBron as we imagine this. Could he be taking his talents back to South Beach? That phrase is just going to get repeated. It's coming back. The starting 5 in Miami, hypothetical, Al, would look a little something like this now that Andrew Wiggins is back in the fold. Davion Mitchell, LeBron, Andrew Wiggins, and you want to talk about a defensive front court, Giannis and Bam. You like this reunion for LeBron?
Well, let's start with that. That's a top 2 defensive team right there. We look at those guys, right? They'll be very tough to score on them on a night in and night out basis. My only concern with this team is the shooting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know they have Norman Powell. Bobby Portis came over, so they do have a couple guys that can make shots. But there, I'm just kind of concerned on like how the ball will be spread around. But this one, another one that can make a lot of sense. Obviously when he left Miami, he didn't leave in good graces, especially with Pat Riley. And I know that Pat Riley made that move for Giannis to try to win right now. So I could see him definitely being super aggressive, trying to bring LeBron back in the fold. Because if you put LeBron back in Miami with those guys, you put LeBron pretty much anywhere, you give yourself a chance to win at the highest level, and which is trying to compete for a championship.
LeBron's a basketball genius. He makes everybody better, right? It is a remarkable thing. If he's still a top 20 player in the league, he was 21-7-7 last year. His numbers went up in the playoffs. They won a playoff series. Clearly, he makes any team better at this stage. It is interesting that LeBron would be the spacing for Miami. Andrew Wiggins had an amazing three-point shooting year. Bam likes to shoot the threes, but I wonder how much in this would be, okay, LeBron, you've got to be the facilitator, and we need you to be a 40% three-point shooter. There's just not enough spacing and enough shooting there where I think it would be fun. I think it would be interesting. They obviously would be better, but I don't think it's the best year one basketball fit because of what you're talking about. But all right, let's say LeBron wants to go ahead, Al. Sorry.
No. I was just going to agree with you. This is probably my third best opportunity for him in my mind. But, him down in Miami, obviously he got a championship coach. Pat Riley's definitely, you think about even back in the day when he brought the Big down there, every year they were signing 1-year deals with super impactful players. So he knows how to navigate a storm like this. So, if he did choose to go down there, I'm sure Pat Riley could figure out how to make sure that they were competitive.
All right, well, let's just say LeBron wanted to get out of L.A., but he's just hell-bent on staying in California. Reports yesterday were the Warriors were pursuing LeBron and Anthony Davis. Today, Chris Haynes is saying it looks like the Wizards are not interested in trading for AD. The Warriors end up signing Porzingis, but Golden State is still the heavy favorite to land LeBron's services in Vegas. So this is now what the imagined starting five would look like. No AD, but swap in Porzingis. A lot of age, a lot of injury risk, Al. Do you like LeBron in Golden State with that being the core five?
Do I like it? Honestly, no. I don't like it. I don't want to see him and Steph Curry on the same team.
Wow.
For my own personal reasons, I don't know. I just feel like they're supposed to always be competing against each other. They're not supposed to be playing together. But I also did watch the Olympics, and I saw how exciting it was watching those two go out there and, play beautiful basketball. Right?
LeBron said on his podcast before that Steph was the one guy he wanted to play with, and then after he played with Steph, he said it was like perfect basketball. Like, he clearly loves playing with Steph Curry.
I think it's something there. It's something in the water, right? When you think about Draymond opting out, which obviously gave him flexibility to go out and sign somebody, right? When you look at, who's out there to sign, I think LeBron's the only guy that kind of fits their needs right now. So I think that right now they probably have a one-up out of all the teams currently to land them. And if they do get together, it'll be fun basketball to watch. But I still don't think that team constructed the way it is right now will be enough to win the championship or even get out the West.
I agree. I don't think that team can win big. I think if he does that, it is why a lot of people take jobs late in their careers, because you want to hang out with your friends and have fun. So I'm not going to begrudge him it, but I don't think he can win. All right, I'm going to give you one out. Let's just turn off realism here for a second, okay? This is probably not going to happen. What about LeBron James going to Washington? Here's the case. Anthony Davis is one of his best friends in the NBA. They won a title together. They just drafted A.J. Debinsa, who people think is a do-everything player who's going to be relevant in the league for 15 years. I could see the narrative of, LeBron taught me how to be a pro, and, in the year 2050, A.J. is still talking about LeBron's impact on him. LeBron has been praising Trae Young's game since the McDonald's All-American game. The quotes are all over the internet of how much LeBron believes in Trae Young. Sarr, Keontae George, Trey Johnson, athleticism, front court defense along with AD, depth, and bonus thing here, he can go to Washington like Jordan did, except do it better at the end of his career. It's probably not going to happen. I'm just saying, it makes some sense if you think about it.
I got 2 words. Hell no.
Okay.
He has to worry about his legacy, right? And when you think about Cleveland, he started there, won Miami, and then to the Lakers. He can't go to the Wizards after that. I say no way, no shot.
All right, well, I tried to sell you on it. It almost assuredly will not happen. Also, you go to the East, the easier conference. Their head coach was an assistant with the Lakers in the lead-up before they ended up winning the title. I'm just saying, if it doesn't happen, this clip never makes it to the internet. But if it happens, I'm a genius.